go. Let's go, everybody. Let's go. Good morning.
Hold on to your butt.
You're listening to 9 to Noon. It's like The Shining in here.
Yeah!
Double doink.
Time for two more.
9 to noon.
Yep, that's us. On a Thursday, it again. Rise and shine at 9, ladies and gentlemen. The 9 to noon radio show is in the air. Good morning. Paul Allen, Nordo by my side. All righty. Day 1 at TCOPC. And I got Smith Vilbert, Gavin Bartholomew, Timony, Huber, and Dylan Bell down pretty well. You know, numbers and body types. Kyler shook Ingram Dawkins quite well one time. It might be tough watching practice with me when Kyler Murray runs. And I saw this coming. You see, when I watch those 25-ish Kyler the Creator runs from back in his Arizona days, I saw a more diminutive Mike Vick, the way he slides, sets up his second move. It's a legit high-end offensive threat, and I love them so much, I watched all of them multiple times. Now, yesterday, for the first time, I got to see the slowed-down, low-key version of Kyler Murray eluding hits. And at half speed, just running away from them all. Now, hear us when we tell you that, specifically with the adjective, the descriptor. It was half speed.
Oh my gosh.
At half speed, he had them all figured out.
Oh my gosh.
Mike Max, that's old school, best school, local media immortality. Mike Max asked an awesome question at the Kyler Murray press conference about what Kyler needs from others on offense to be at his best. In other words, lots of how much time did you put in the playbook while you were away? What'd you learn? How hard is it? With whom were you playing catch and throwing passes and stuff like that? It was mostly, what can you do for them? Maxie flipped it. I like that. You don't hear this too often. Basically, like, what do you need from others to succeed at the very highest level? So Maxie fired a bullet, and Murray, paraphrasing, basically said, that's coming.
Oh my God.
We're not there yet, but KO is very aware of my skill set and what works. Hey.
Above average at that.
We're all being all deceptive and everything up here. It's covert and clandestine. That means, here's what it means. Here's what I think it means. When Maxie's like, what do you need from others to be at your very best? And then he's like, well, that's coming. So in other words, we're not there yet, which is fine. But paraphrasing or encapsulating and speculating, maybe, quote, like if it was Kyler, quote, the stuff he, KO, the stuff he knows I'll get running due to playing with Justin and Jordan is going to be awesome. Jawan Jennings and Bredesen are going to be part of it. And just wait, because the best is yet to come. Pads Monday, Ravens in 2 weeks. They don the full armor of the gridiron Monday. And when the pads go on, it starts to get a little nastier. It was a business-like day at Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center yesterday. Those with whom I chat I mean, it's not like we're going to go snap by snap, drill by drill, quarterback flip by quarterback flip, and like decide on the fly. All right, well, Kyler won that drill. He's the starter. All right, well, McCarthy won that drill. He's the starter. No, it's an organic overall feel for what we're witnessing and then what we hear. I ain't going to say it was a 50-50 split, but they both had good moments yesterday at day one, Minnesota Vikings training camp.
Did you see anybody, without naming names out of respect, but did you see anybody that had the steno pad, that had the 2 columns, and the tally marks being made potentially based on reps? Did you see any of that out there yesterday?
The answer is no. And the reason is...
Oh, you were mesmerized by Kyler.
Well, no. I'm on the spacious, palatial purple paradise known as the exclusive Vikings Radio Network perch, overlooking 5 perfectly manicured practice fields, actually 4.
How's the wind?
Well, the 5th, though, that the Mike Hughes Memorial Field, wasn't really anybody on it yesterday.
I always love that one.
Meanwhile, the assembled media, good 40 yards to the right of yours truly.
Oh, okay.
40 yards to the south, in a markedly smaller tent.
I always love that one.
With no chairs.
I always love that one.
And no sneaky pass access to cold water.
I always love that one.
Or chilled towels.
I always love that one.
So, for yours truly to see if anybody was denoting reps, I'd have to, go from hotel, motel, Holiday Inn. And when Nordo starts acting up, then you take his friend, a Master G, a Mom Mello. Maxie, though.
That is a great question, though, because the perspective, every bit of our conversations about these guys.
Old schoolers do that.
Whether, we look at J.J. McCarthy, we need the offensive line to do this for J.J. We need those. So we talk about it in some respects like that. But in terms of who's going to be QB1,
old schoolers do that.
It's all about his legs, JJ maturing through the process, et cetera. We don't look enough maybe in terms of the outside to in with these guys. That was a great job by Maxie.
Same. Perhaps the highlight of day one of Minnesota Vikings training camp was when before I departed is listening to Caleb Banks chat with the assembled media. He had to ask Alec Lewis to repeat a question twice because Alec whispers.
I always love that one.
It was like, what'd you say?
Oh, I got to listen back to that now.
And then he did it again. And then he said, what was that? Man, y'all are whispering today. Actually, it was only one with Alec, one with somebody else. But I was right there next to it, and I was there for it. I was there for it all day in America, ladies and gentlemen. Alec whispering a question to Caleb Banks, and the game-changing defensive tackle had to say, excuse me, what'd you say?
I always love that.
That's half his first segment with us tomorrow.
What's defensive line coach Ryan Nielsen? I know you haven't had much practice, but what do you think so far? Excuse me?
Florio, you can write what you want. It's okay.
Pat's Monday. Rubber starts to meet the road. Here's a key for Kyler in watching Baker Mayfield play on quarterback, the Netflix bit, which is, as the kids would say, very mid. In fact, maybe whatever slightly below mid would be, with Messrs. Ward, Daniels, Mayfield, and Flacco. It's quite middling, but nevertheless, picked up something from it. And it's a key for Kyler Murray. And watching Baker Mayfield closely with this NFL film stuff that they have, which is high level and second to none, this triggered it. Baker, Lamar, Mahomes, Josh Allen, Carson Wentz, I'm sure there are others. They all take on guys at the ends of runs. Our guy cannot do that. And I mean never. No. The mini Mike Vick. We don't need to be taking on people as we run like the wind. Here it comes. And like if he sees something coming, it needs to be, all right, here it comes. And all of this matters.
So you are pro-business decision in the game at the end of runs.
Yes.
I am as well.
Yes. Sliding, running out of bounds. You can get 12, but go ahead and take 9. Why? Here it comes. It's going to come a lot during the course of training camp and the regular season. Kyler, discretion is the better part of valor.
I always love that one.
Same with McCarthy.
Yeah.
Our guys need to break backs and hearts and just get out of the way. But we got a couple who can run. And one, well, I mean, I think my opinion on the way he runs is duly noted in the Love Covenant. So, got an early feel for all that. Kyler went first. JJ and Kyler both had some good moments. And on to today to see what's up. Caleb Banks moves like Akeem Hicks. James Pierre looks solid. James Pierre looks solid one-on-one with Justin Jefferson. And I truly believe Kevin O'Connell dialed up some of the prime cuts for Kyler Murray right out of the gate, first few plays of training camp. You know, when you have a chance to read, hear, or see the wherewithal or lack thereof of the quarterback when it comes to that day at minicamp, and the first two passes were interceptions, and then he's saying, I'm not used to cutting reps, I'm used to being the starter. KO's smart. So he dials up a couple of prime cuts, undoubtedly we will see in the regular season, to get Kyler Murray going, and it worked. One of them, this hard cut by Jordan Addison, right to left, might have had some bust to it. Also might have had some gotcha to it.
Oh, my gosh.
Be careful with those gotchas on Flores, but it had some gotcha to it. And it worked. Tyrion Ingram Dawkins, he got no run at edge. So I've heard that a lot in the offseason. Had a tough time believing it. He worked out with the defensive ends. Got no run at edge. We'll see where it goes from there. There was a 54 running around out there who was not Eric Kendricks, Greg Beaker, Jasper Brinkley, or Fred McNeil. It was Jamal Adams. Yeah, that Jamal Adams. The big-name defensive player who shared after practice what this whole experience has been like so far.
Jamal, why Minnesota?
Nolan and BFlo, simply put. Obviously, these guys have had a lot of success over the years, and my little short stint in Detroit, obviously, just knowing about Minnesota and knowing about, the division. This is a playoff football team over here, so excited to be here, man.
How much the way that BFlo uses his players in different spots was attractive to you?
Yeah, man, it's really unique. BFlo was with the Patriots when I was with the Jets, and just always had a respect from afar. Always kept up with them, and it's certain DCs in the league that you once pray that you can play for him one day, and he fits me, man, and we fit each other, so I'm excited to be here.
When you first got that call about possibly coming to Minnesota, what went through your mind about where your career can kind of go from here?
I mean, the sky's the limit, man. I just had to get back healthy, I tore my quad tendon, man. That's a tough injury. I don't know if anybody knows. It's probably the toughest injury you can go through in all of sports. It's not an ACL or, Achilles, no offense to anybody that has that. But it's a different level. It's an intense level. When you tear your tendon, it takes time. It takes years to really get it back to yourself. You might heal, but you're not back to yourself mentally and physically. So I just had to get back healthy, and clearly I know what I can do. I know what I can bring to the table. Just got to be out there, fully locked and loaded.
How much did you interact with Nolan in Seattle?
Oh, that was my guy, man. Yeah.
Like in what way would you guys have, talk? Where, when?
I mean, just any time in the building. You know what I'm saying? Just like I would talk to you any time in the building if I see you. It's just being a good human. You know what I'm saying? So that's all it is, man. Just talking to Nolan. Nolan's a good guy. He means well, man, and obviously takes care of his players. He's the right guy for the job. So, when he got the job, it was a no-brainer for me.
What's going to be the hardest part of acclimating to Flo and how they do things, whether it's terminology?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's the main thing, is just picking up the terminology. Obviously, that's going to take his time. Just got to put the time in, put the film work in, and those things will catch up.
Positionally, how do you view yourself?
Man, I can play linebacker, safety, corner, nose tackle, DN, kicker. It don't even matter. Whatever you want me to play, I'll play. You want me to walk the dog, I'll walk the dog.
It's not my choice.
There wasn't much of an adjustment for you to go from safety to linebacker or whatnot?
No, it definitely wasn't. I've just been a football player my whole life, just playing a little bit of everything. When I was young, the basic fundamentals is see ball, get ball, tackling, and, that was my thing. So, obviously moving down to the linebacker room, obviously there's different things that you got to adjust. I'm obviously dealing with bigger guys up front that I don't like to deal with, but other than that, it's cool.
Jamal, you mentioned the quad tendon. Was there ever a point in that recovery process that doubt started to creep in that you?
Oh, no doubt, bro. No doubt. Doubt was definitely there, man. I really lost my confidence toward, when I first toured, getting back the following year in 23. I wasn't confident. I knew my knee wasn't, fully back yet, but I knew I was on contract. I had to get out there and go out there and sacrifice. I wanted to play with my guys. I went out there, did what I could, but my knee just never could give it to me each and every week as far as practicing. I'm a practice player. I love to practice. I couldn't practice full speed, so when you don't practice full speed, it's hard to kind of go to the game and transition to full speed. So it took time, but I definitely had a lot of doubt, man, and went through a lot of adversity, but I came out on top, and it made me stronger.
That was nice. Welcome to the Covenant, Jamal Adams. Obviously, if they big-time hit on this, and he plays a lot, and he's good, we have identity. In fact, we have a defense known as the Adams family. Courtesy of TimberTech and TimberTech.com. What's on deck 9 to noon includes former Minnesota Vikings tight end Kyle Rudolph. Big boys back on the radio show. That's next. Thank you, TimberTech. TimberTech.com. Here's Nordo.
The Fan and BigDeck.com want to give you a shot at some bonus bucks with the National Cash Contest. This hour's keyword is green. You might win something if you use the keyword green at KFAN.com. Good luck.
This is PA on iHeartRadio and KFAN The Fan. Guaranteed.
And whop da 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 da. Ben Lieber, noise 9 to noon today. 40 minutes from now. Today also is the conclusion of the top 10 moments from the first 10 years of Minnesota Vikings football at U.S. Bank Stadium, the spatial, palatial, purple paradise. Today, we handled the Kevin O'Connell years. 22, 23, 2024, and 2025. And that comes up a little later in the radio presentation at FM 100.3, KFAN. Former Minnesota Vikings tight end Kyle Rudolph could be joining us very, very soon. He provided a play that according to the massive cast and amount of individuals we have voting on said accolades, the massive amount of staff members we have voting on the top 10 from the first 10. Turns out 2018, his touchdown against the or was it 2019, against the Denver Broncos, with the Minnesota Vikings coming back from a 20-0 deficit against the Brandon Allen-led Denver Broncos. That won that year. I think it was 2018. We had controversy yesterday, though, is when coordinating with Big Boys back, Kyle Rudolph, talking about the top 10 memories from the first 10 years, year by year, of Minnesota Vikings football at U.S. Bank Stadium. We were chatting a little bit about Norv, chatting a little bit about all those offensive coordinators, and, of course, the first year, 2016, where the victory over the Green Bay Packers cracked open U.S. Bank Stadium. Don't kill the messenger. That was the dagger. We can't control the dagger. It just was the dagger. And a play from that game that sealed the game ran second, or according to the vast and ever-expanding 9 to noon voting staff on all these plays, it was Trey Waynes intercepting a pass to win the game in 2016, and Aaron Rodgers' pass to win game number 1 at the U.S. Bank Stadium. But there was a play left on the proverbial cutting room floor. And if 9 to noon elevates, amplifies, or preaches when it comes to these plays, there can be some keys. And the first and the last would be a couple of operative words here, like the first of something happening or the last time something happened. For instance, the winner in 2016 was Marcus Sherrill's punt return touchdown against the Houston Texans. That took place in October. They killed the Texans. They always kill the Texans at U.S. Bank Stadium. But the reasoning behind that, with yours truly playing judge and jury on the bit, was sadly, that's the last time the Minnesota Vikings have recorded a punt return touchdown. The last time, main man Marcus from Rockford to Reading, Pennsylvania. This is the vast and ever-expanding Marcus Sherrill's returns punts for touchdowns, our radio network, KFAN.com. So that one, first touchdown, U.S. Bank Stadium, Kyle Rudolph. Cutting room floor.
Oh my gosh.
Terrible staff voting. So he's like, come on. But he understands the reasoning behind what has turned out to be a very controversial, agonizing, and tedious set of circumstances. Spending no fewer than 45 minutes to an hour on each year trying to figure out which play should win and why. Like we said, Kyle Rudolph, he made the mix when he won the game against the Denver Broncos.
First and 10 from Denver's 32. Cousins under center play action. Bootlegs out to the left. Looking to the left. Firing. Caught. Rudolph. 10-5. Touchdown. And the Vikings have taken the lead.
Joining us now is Kyle Rudolph, former Minnesota Vikings tight end. What's going on there, Kyle Rudolph?
Not much, PA. How are you?
My man, thanks for making some time for the 9 to noon radio show. A very good morning to you and your family. Are you doing any college football games this year?
No college football. Not sure. Last year I did 2 NFL games. I got to see you guys over in Dublin for Steelers, Vikings. So potentially radio again, but no college.
Okay. Well, college was TV, right?
Correct.
Yeah, and when I saw you in Dublin,
I have a face for radio, so they moved me for radio.
Rob, I've had a 3-chinned, 1 eyebrow face for radio for almost 30 years.
I always love that one.
It ain't a bad gig if you can get it, big boy. So when I saw you in Dublin, you were doing some Westwood One, right?
Correct.
What do you prefer, analyzing games on radio or TV, and why?
I feel like for the analyst in the booth, it's more similar than it is for the play-by-play guy. Obviously, the play-by-play guy in radio, like, no one's watching. You have to be their eyes. As the analyst, you have to give the play-by-play person a little more time to be able to depict everything that normally you'd be seeing. But I feel like for me, like, after I got a feel for that and, giving the play-by-play person that I was working with a little more time before I come in with analysis or, football type stuff, it was really similar for me. I think the biggest thing that I enjoy is just kind of the preparation side of it. There's two parts to that, being able to study football and watch the tape and study the teams, but then also the production conversations and calls that you get to have. There's so many people across football that my path has crossed over the years, and it's a great way to stay connected and get to chat with them.
Are you perchance watching the newest Netflix football big Quarterback? Are you watching Quarterback on Netflix?
I'm not watching Quarterback on Netflix. I see clips from time to time on social, but I haven't sat down and actually watched the full episodes.
Yeah, and I know you've watched it before, whether it was Cousins when he was on it or receiver, stuff like that. It's middling, so you're not really missing much, but here's the question. Baker Mayfield is getting really the most run of the four quarterbacks on Quarterback. How well do you know Baker Mayfield, if at all, and what do you think of the whole package?
I know Baker very well. We're down here in the same neighborhood in Tampa, and I've got to know him well since we moved down here, and he got down here the year after we did. I love his competitiveness. I love what he brings to the quarterback position. I love kind of the way he approaches the game, the mindset that he has. For me, when you have that guy as your quarterback, the quarterback is the one we all look to on offense and the guy that really leads the whole team and sets the tone for the whole team. And so, I think everyone assumed when Tom Brady retired, Tampa Bay was going to ultimately take a step back. You were going to have life after Brady. You went all in. You won a Super Bowl, which is great, but there's, ultimately going to be ramifications, salary cap, the things of those nature. Well, they've just gone on and won the NFC South every year, except for last year, the first time they hadn't won it. So, I just think you look at what he's done, coming in and replacing the greatest quarterback that ever played the game. And he does it his way. He's never trying to be anyone else. And so, it's interesting. I think the storyline coming out of camp right now for them is Baker and his contract, and he's got 1 year left on his deal. And, certainly I know there's a lot of teams across the NFL that would love to see him get to free agency.
All right, well, here's a question involving Baker. Vita Vea, who I know you know of or know, and Baker, they're trying to get paid down there with the Bucs. Now, given it hasn't worked out to this stage, when things like that happen, Kyle, does it bring distraction to teams, or do players just kind of look the other way?
I think as players, we all know that the other guys in the locker room have to take care of their business and the business side of football. I think every player approaches it differently. Baker set a deadline himself saying, look, when I report to training camp, it's this whole contract thing is over and done with, and I'm coming to work, and you're going to get everything out of me for the 2026 season, and then we can revisit it afterwards. For me personally, I got a contract done during training camp in 2014. We were working on it all summer heading into camp. I reported to camp with no deal. I think it was after the third or fourth practice. My agent calls me and says, hey, go see Rick. The deal's done. I signed a contract in the dorm room down in Mankato. So it didn't bother me because it didn't change the way I approached training camp or going to work. And I was like, I'll let my agent and Rick Spielman and Rob Brzezinski handle the contract stuff. I'm just here to go to work. I know plenty of other guys that don't want to have contract negotiations hanging over their head and going out to practice and different things like that. So I think everyone handles it differently. But in terms of the locker room as a whole, everybody in there knows that individually you have to handle your business.
Now, the highlight that we played as we welcomed you to the conversation was your catch to take the lead from a 20-zip down versus Denver in 2019, and it was deemed the most memorable home game play of that season. So what we're doing is the top 10 most memorable Vikings plays from the first 10 years at U.S. Bank Stadium. So like 2019, I mean, that when you caught that and scored outside of the Minneapolis Miracle game, that's about as loud as U.S. Bank Stadium ever has been, right?
Yeah, and it's funny, like, thinking back to that game in 2019, you know, it's a year in which, you know, we kind of went on a little run there, won a few games in a row. We're playing good football. You get a home game against the Denver Broncos, who, from a record standpoint, were not very good. We come out flat in the first half. We're down, I think, 20-0 at the half. And then you come out the second half, and it was just 4 straight touchdowns, you know, ultimately going out and getting a huge win for us, you know, towards the middle to back half of the season that year. And, you know, ultimately 2019, we go on and win a playoff game and make it to the divisional round. So I remember that game vividly. I remember the play call. I remember the route. I remember running across the field being like, oh my gosh, there's no one around. Like, hopefully Kirk can get turned and get this ball out of his hand, because it was a boot, a naked out to the left. And as long as we got a clean edge, there was no one around, and ultimately able to make the catch wide open and get in the end zone to take the lead.
And so with 2016, the first year of Vikings football at U.S. Bank Stadium, we gave the top 2016 home game moment to Marcus Sherrills for a punt return versus Houston. And here's why. It's the last time the Vikings have returned a punt for a touchdown. Plus, Marcus Sherrills is the best punt returner in the history of the team. Now, it got a little controversial yesterday after we made this decision, because you scored the first touchdown for the Minnesota Vikings in the building and versus Green Bay. And we also had Trey Wayne's interception at the end of that game. That was a candidate that lost to main man Marcus. Do you think we made a mistake here not using your touchdown because it was the first for the purple in the new building?
No, you can't ever take anything away from Marcus Sherrills. He was one of the best, and I think through our time together in Minnesota, like, just thinking of how big special teams were for us, whether it was Percy Harvin, Cordell Patterson, kickoff returns, Marcus back there returning punts, you know, just the style of football in which we played throughout that decade, you know, in the 2010s, special teams were a huge part of it. And, you know, we were going to go out and play good defense. You know, for us as an offense, we were going to run the football and be sound in different situational football environments. And then ultimately we were going to have explosive plays in special teams. And you always knew that Marcus was going to be good for a punt return. If he didn't take it to the house for a touchdown, he was going to give us great field position and flip the field at key points. So can't take anything away from Marcus. Trey's interception that sealed the game right in front of us, you know, on the attempt to Devontae Adams was huge as well. That game, you know, coming into such a weird first month of the season where Teddy Bridgewater gets hurt in training camp. Sean Hill starts week 1 in Tennessee, and then Sam Bradford starts first game in U.S. Bank Stadium 13 days after he walked in the door. And to beat Green Bay, you know, that was an awesome night all around.
Now, you scored the first Vikings touchdown, regular season touchdown, in the history of the building. All right. But it wasn't the first touchdown scored in U.S. Bank Stadium. That was by the Green Bay Packers to take a 7-0 lead. Then your 8-yard touchdown from Sam Bradford tied the game. Do you happen to remember who scored the very first touchdown in that game?
I'm going to go Jordy Nelson.
Wow. Dang! From A-Rod's, Jordy Nelson, one of the best sideline, one of the best boundary receivers. Like in the vein of Chris Carter, he was so good on the sideline, don't you think? Jordy Nelson at the sideline, man, he snatched up everything.
Yeah, Jordy Nelson was one of those guys. Like, we played Green Bay all those times over all those years, and, you know, you just sit on the sideline and it's almost like, man, how does this guy do it? It seemed like every time we played him, Jordy was making huge catches, explosive plays. So yeah, I do remember that. I remember that incredible catch that he made, scoring the first touchdown in US Bank Stadium. And, ultimately just remember how close that game was, going back and forth. It was definitely a good one to pull out and make sure, not only was it Green Bay, but, you want to open your stadium with the win, and you think about just all of the great moments in that stadium over the last 10 years, certainly with probably the Minneapolis Miracle being at the top, but just week in and week out. I can't tell you at this point in my life, meeting guys that played on other teams or, as I went to other teams and talked to guys, US Bank Stadium is a place that no one enjoyed playing in. They knew what they were in for 3 hours on, Sunday, Monday night, Thursday night. And it was because of Vikings fans and just the environment that they've created in US Bank Stadium.
All right, couple to close here for Kyle Rudolph. I have a laundry list of names here for you, so just roll with me on this. Who's the best offensive coordinator for whom you played and why? Bill Musgrave, Norv Turner, Pat Shurmur, John DeFilippo, Kevin Stefanski, Gary Kubiak, Jason Garrett, Freddie Kitchens, or Byron Leftwich?
I certainly had a lot of offensive coordinators, a lot of tight end coaches. I'm going to say it's really close for me between Kevin Stefanski and Pat Shurmur. Obviously, both guys that went on to become head coaches after being the offensive coordinator in Minnesota. For me, Pat, because he had such an innate ability going in, no matter who we were playing or what a defense was going to do to us, to basically say, the year that he was a coordinator, we had a top 10 rushing offense and a top 10 passing offense. And he had such innate ability to be able to call a game, to do what we did well, make it simple on us, make it look difficult to defenses, and ultimately get everybody involved. It was getting, the run game going. That year, Dalvin gets hurt week 4 against Detroit, tears his ACL. Jerick McKinnon, Latavius Murray, they get the ball. Adam gets the ball. Diggsy gets the ball. I get the ball. He just had such a innate ability to get everyone involved. And then the thing that I appreciated most about Kevin, so I was with Kevin for, the first 9 years that I was in Minnesota before he went to Cleveland.
Yep.
Kevin had, Brad Childress, Bill Musgrave, Norv Turner, Pat Shurmur, John DeFilippo. Then Gary comes in and brings in that Shanahan-Kubiak offense. He had so many different offensive systems and play callers that he was around. And the offense that he runs now, the offense that he installed for us and that we ran in 2019, it took the best of everything that we did throughout the course of my career. It wasn't just, hey, this is West Coast, or, this is the Shanahan Kubiak tree. This is stuff that Pat ran. We're going to keep that, and that's going to be our offense. He truly took the great things that we did in the run game or the pass game or the keeper, and I think that's how he made his offense. And I just had such an appreciation for the way that Kevin built his offense. So I would say one of those two.
That was a fantastic answer. Thank you. Former teammates Anthony Barr and Eric Hendricks, they have a cool new podcast they just started called Bent Out of Shape. Have you ever considered doing a podcast with somebody and blowing up the YouTube machine, getting a bunch of subscribers, like maybe you and Red Ellison, or maybe you and Irv Smith, or maybe you and Kate Otten? Who knows? Maybe you and Jeremy Shockey. What do you think about that?
Yeah. I don't know that anyone would actually want to listen to what I had to say. I think that would definitely be the title, like nobody's listening.
Come on, man.
There's been one person who has approached me about doing a podcast, and I just, don't have the time that you have to dedicate to be able to truly get the content out that people would want to listen to and follow and subscribe and all the things that you do. And it was our buddy Greenway. He had reached out a few years back about, hey, let's just chop it up like we used to in the locker room. And, for me, it would be a blast because I'd get to sit there, an hour a week or so and basically reminisce all the incredible years that we had together. And, but yeah, for me, there's plenty of great individuals that are out there doing podcasts, and I'm going to let them stick to it. Well, I'm happy to be a guest and share stories anytime.
Yeah, nice of Greenway to recognize the ages of your kids. I mean, his kids are older than yours. He's got one going up to Lexington, Kentucky, set to steal the show for Kentucky Wildcats women's basketball. So he's like, yeah, I got all this time in the world and everything. Meanwhile, you're chasing little rugrats around, right?
He certainly doesn't have time. The three that are still in the house are very active and following in their big sister's footsteps. So I don't know that either one of us really have time for it. But, that was kind of the only podcast that's ever been pitched to me.
You going to make it up here for any training camp practices? Would love to see you. If not, maybe at a game on the during the season or something.
Yeah, I'm definitely hoping to get up there at some point. I'll be there on Monday. My former college and NFL teammate Michael Floyd's having an incredible foundation golf event at Golden Valley on Monday. So I'll be back for that and hopefully get back at some point and come out and catch a training camp practice. And the kids are on me about getting back for a game. We were back a lot this summer, and every time we drive by US Bank Stadium, they're asking about coming back for games. So we'll definitely be back. We'll be around, and, always great to see everyone.
You're the best, my brother. Thanks for making time for the radio show, and as usual, we'll stay in touch, okay?
Always. Appreciate you guys. Have a good one.
See you, bud. Kyle Rudolph. 2019. Rudolph wins the game against the Denver Broncos and does the top 10 memories from the first 10 years of Vikings football at US Bank Stadium would go. Big Boy was anointed as the winner in 2019.
There we go, Paul! Yeah, we should just, because final hour, we're going to put a stamp on this, of course. But 2016, Marcus Sherrills. 2017, The Miracle. 2018, Daniil, the 10-sack game.
Bingo.
And then 2019, Rudy. 2020, Jefferson's first TD. 2021, Greg Joseph, walk-off border battle in your face, Milwaukee.
I'm liking it. 2020 at some 2022 at some very dramatic games.
Yeah, it did.
Some at home, some on the road. That's part of the final hour. Make sure you don't miss that. Also, don't miss Vikes Bites, which are next on 9 to noon at KFAN.
You're listening live to Paul Allen and 9 to noon on iHeartRadio and FM 100.3 KFAN, The Fan.
All righty.
Vikes.
Yep, announcer daycare is in the air.
I'm a kid, so I call it KFAN.
The two of the three Nordquist girls have joined us in studio, Ava and Stella.
That's my Uncle Paul.
Good morning, ladies. It's great to see you guys again, and thank you very much for helping me with the Owl Roofing commercial. Is everybody having a good day?
Yes.
Yep, great to see you. What's your name, young lady?
Stella.
Hi, Stella. And Ava, hi, what's your name?
Ava.
It's Ava, right?
Yeah.
So Uncle Paul, which would be me, when I first saw you guys today, what did Uncle Paul bring for a treat?
Dairy Queen. You're listening to 9 to noon.
How's that go over with Mom and Dad? Uncle Paul giving a couple of 11. You guys are 11, right?
Yeah.
A couple of 11-year-olds, big old fat Dairy Queen cup at 8:30 in the morning. What do you think of that?
Well, when it's field trip day with Pops, they can have treats today. There's no doubt about that. Mom, well, she doesn't listen to the fan, so she is none the wiser.
Okay, now we have some very, very important business to handle here, ladies, okay? You understand what I'm saying, right?
Yes.
We got a radio show to do. A lot of people out there listening right now, right, Stella?
Yes.
A lot of people out there listening right now, right, Ava?
Yes.
You guys never listen to KFAN because it's boring, right?
Yes.
Yep, thank you. Now, so to occupy your time, I see you've brought some pencils and pens and things with which to color. Is that accurate?
Yes.
No, we're not doing that because I got the TV remote. So what do we want to watch? What do you guys want to do? Let's babysit you with the old television set. Do you want me to find the movie Saw? Maybe Friday the 13th or Clockwork Orange? It's dealer's choice. Which?
Let's go. Let's go, everybody. Let's go. Good morning.
Always great seeing you, ladies. Can't wait to see you at the racetrack next time. I don't know what happened to you on Saturday, but your favorite horse, Moral Dilemma. Remember when the Chapel horse won and you got to go on the winner's circle? Was that fun?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? The horse won again last Saturday. I told your dad to bring you, and he put an L on you. Your thoughts? I mean, yeah, I missed you guys Saturday. You didn't come to the racetrack, and the horse won again. So I'll let you know when he runs again, okay? Because you got not that I believe in luck, but nevertheless, maybe you guys got a little charm too. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Okay, great. So Saw's on that television.
Oh, perfect.
Go ahead and enjoy it, and we will chat momentarily after Vikes Bites provided by.
Vikes Bites provided by Kinmount Exteriors, KinmountExteriors.com, windows, roofing, siding, and decks. Oh my, KinmountExteriors.com. It's about clarity. It's about honesty, getting the job done incredibly well, but doing it the first time. KinmountExteriors.com.
I'm a kid and I call it KFAN.
Hey, BFlo on the mic.
Juice box.
Oh, juice box, squish. I'm still getting texts. This Ron texts in, and I appreciate him texting, but he hits me with Nord Squish.
Yes.
Every time he texts in, and that's always appreciated.
Stella loved that. Thought that was the funniest thing she's ever heard.
She digs it.
Microphone's on, please.
I'm going to hear it in the car later.
So, like with Daddy, with dear old Dad, got a couple of nicknames around here. One is Mad Producer. The other's The Con! There's another that's Mad Producer. Nordo. There's another one that, we use very occasionally, not that often, but it's Juice Box. Do you like that nickname for Daddy-O, Juice Box?
Yes.
You do?
I always love that one.
Or what do you like more, Juice Box or Nord Squish?
I like Nord Squish.
I love Nord Squish.
I always love that
I'm
one.
going to hear that 100 times today.
Good Daddy Squishy, Squishy. Okay, Finchy, what do you got?
Yeah, BFlo chatting on the mic yesterday, and here he is talking about Caleb Banks.
Excited to get him out here. He's been working, extremely hard, and really, they all have. Specifically that rookie group, Golday, Caleb, the Thomas brothers, obviously Dom. I can go on and on. I'm probably missing somebody, but they've all been working extremely hard and in good shape. But they all did a great job through the course of the spring. This is our first time getting Caleb on the field. So excited about that. But again, like everyone, it's about daily improvement, technique, fundamentals, communication. With every player, every coach, everybody, there's going to be mistakes. The thing is about learning from them and growing, and that's part of our job and our responsibility as coaches.
He would go on. So the cool part about this is camp gets rolling here, and it's not trying to have grandstanding opinions off of one practice. But when you draft Caleb Banks and there's a foot issue, is he going to play? Is he going to be available for camp? You're asking those questions, and you don't get to see much over the course of the summer. But so far, you could say things have gone according to plan. Caleb Banks has a foot issue. He's healing it. He's training, building himself up, getting ready for camp. He's available for the start of camp. And damn it, he's on the field for the first day of camp. Sorry, ladies.
He said it, not me. See, he brings out the worst in me.
Yeah, that's
$1, Dad.
That's $1.
That's $1, Nord Squish.
The swear jar,
squishy,
sadly, is overflowing at times.
You just mentioned the word foot, right?
Yes.
Okay, well, that plays into a conversation I was having between segments with your daughters, Ava and Stella. Stella, put that microphone on. Do you like Green Bay Packers quarterback Jordan Love, or what do you think of him? What do you think?
No, he's terrible. He throws off his back foot.
You can't talk that way and be taken seriously.
Yeah, it's a foot of a different leg and everything. I understand that. You were saying?
BFlo also chatted about new addition Jamal Adams.
Always had a lot of respect and a lot of admiration for Jamal and his game, going all the way back to college. Obviously a high draft pick. has had a lot of very, very productive years. As far as accolades and awards, he's picked those up as well. But just spending time with him, this is a football guy. He kind of lives and breathes the game.
He's a football guy. He would go on, and I'm glad you had that Jamal Adams presser from yesterday, because BFlo mentioned similar things. The idea that terminology is a significant part of their off-field, their behind-the-scenes conversations right now in terms of when I say this is what it means in terms of the scheme. And Jamal Adams now in the mix as well. And last one from BFlo. I got some audio from...
So you were talking about Caleb Banks, right?
I was talking about Banks, and then now Jamal Adams as well.
But not Caleb Williams.
Not Caleb Williams.
Well, interestingly, I was chatting about the Chicago Bears with your daughter, Ava. Before we came back for Vikes Bikes. The Chicago Bears, they won the division last year and looked really, really good. Ava, what do you think of this? Do you like the Chicago Bears this year?
The Bears are terrible. That first place schedule, though.
Never heard anyone in my life who's more insane than Paul Allen.
Anyway, Jamal Adams.
Yeah, Jamal.
Nice work, ladies.
Jamal Adams. Yeah, it's just brilliant, ladies. Thank you. Jamal Adams, welcome to the mix. Last bit I'll play, and then we'll pause because Lieber will be in this conversation. A big part of it, too, is BFlo talking about Dallas Turner year 3.
Just continued improvement every day. I mean, that's... I'm not really a big, expectations. I think we just try to improve and get better day after day after day and see where the chips are at the end. But he's been working. Obviously, he's, this being his 3rd year, understanding what his role in the system. With JG, us losing JG, obviously he'll have a bigger role. He understands that. But, it's not like we're throwing a lot of pressure on him saying, hey, you have to be this. That's not really our style of play. Just the message to our guys always is we play team defense. I'm not asking anybody to, take over a game. We do it together as a unit, as a group. That's the message. He knows that.
Team defense from BFlo.
Ladies, as we were discussing between segments, the next person you will meet in here is here now. His name's Ben Lieber. You guys may have met Ben Lieber. Stella, you had a question for us involving Ben. What was it?
Is he a model?
Yeah, I might punch him in the face.
Ben Lieber.
Stella and Ava, you guys are too cute.
Yes.
This is great.
So are you. It's KFAN Sports Time is 10:02. Those are Vikes Bites provided by
Kinmount Exteriors, KinmountExteriors.com.
Here comes Nacho Lieber to join yours truly, Paul Allen, and Nord Squish, who's producing 9 to noon today at FM 100.3 KFAN. Back after this.
This is 9 to noon, live on iHeartRadio and KFAN, The Fan.
From the 1-800 Ask Gary